Hey guys, for today's video I will cover Saber's incredibly easy to understand kits and everything else you need to reach your full potential. I'll cover what relics and ornaments to use, what cones to use, and what teams with the showcase at the end. For her skill, she deals wind damage to a designated enemy and adjacent enemies, and the Saber currently possesses core resonance and her energy can be regenerated to full by consuming the core resonance. Then it increases the damage multiplier for this instance of skill by 14% for each stack of core resonance, and it consumes all core resonance to regenerate energy for Saber after attacking. But if she doesn't have enough core resonance stacks so that she can fully regenerate her ultimate, she instead immediately gains 3 more points of core resonance. For her ultimate, she deals wind damage to all enemies and deals 10 instances of bounce damage. After using her ultimate, her basic attack is enhanced. Her enhanced basic attack lets her regain 2 core resonance stacks, and she deals damage to all enemies, dealing 150% more damage if there are 2 enemies and dealing 220% more damage if there is only 1. For her talent, it states that she can gain 1 core resonance stack when she enters the battle, and that for every time an ally uses an ultimate, her damage dealt is increased by 60% for 2 turns, and she obtains 3 core resonance stacks. For her first trace, it increases Saber's crit rate by 20%, and when entering battle, or when using her enhanced basic attack, she obtains the mana burst effect. While she's under this effect, if Saber has core resonance, and her energy that is replenished by consuming core resonance stacks can be fully regenerated by using her skill, she consumes this effect to recover 1 skill points, and she immediately takes action. For her second trace, it states that Saber can accumulate up to 120 excess energy, and that after using her ultimate, the excess energy is cleared and a corresponding amount is regenerated. It also states that when the battle starts, if her energy is below 60%, it is regenerated to 60%. For her third trace, it states that when using her skill, it increases Saber's crit damage by 50% for 2 turns, and that during this battle, for each point of core resonance gained, Saber's crit damage is increased by 4% up to 8 times. So, what does this all mean? How do you actually play with Saber? In short, Saber wants to regenerate as many core resonance stacks as she can by spamming her skills and allies' ultimates, so that once she has enough core resonance stacks to fully regenerate her energy, she can get advanced forward, use her skill to convert those core resonance stacks into ultimate energy, and then use her ultimate. After that, you want to use the enhanced basic attack that she gets from her ultimate before using her next ultimate, so that she can replenish the mana burst effect, which is what allowed her to get advanced forward once she had enough core resonance stacks to convert that into ultimate energy, which is where her rotation starts/ends. For her relics, since Saber already gets a ton of crit stats and damage dealt, she's gonna want a ton of attack percentage since it's going to be less dilutable. Not only that, but the majority of her damage comes from her ultimate. With that in mind, for her relics, she's gonna want the Wave Strider Captain set since she can make use of a ton of attack up to 48% when using her ultimate, and she gets a 16% crit damage buff. For an alternative, the Scholar Lost in Erudition set would also be decent since it increases her ultimate damage and skill damage, and her skill damage even more after using her ultimate, which isn't too bad considering that her playstyle consists of spamming her skills. Keep in mind that all of these relics give practically the same amounts of damage boosts, so you should just build her with whichever set has the better substats. For her planner set, the Glamov set is going to be her best since it increases her damage dealt for every attack, and it increases her attack percentage, which can be further increased by increasing her speed by a certain amount. For an alternative, the Inert Salsoto set would also be good since it increases her ultimate damage and gives her some more crit rate. Another alternative could be the Space Sealing Station since it has the best attack boost out of all of them by up to 24%. Keep in mind that all of these planner ornaments give practically the same amount of damage buffs, so just build her with whichever sets have better substats. For her chest, she's gonna want crit rate, not crit damage, since she already gets a ton from her kit. For her feet, she's gonna want speed or attack percentage, depending on how fast her supports are. For her sphere, she's gonna want wind damage boost or attack percentage, there isn't much of a difference. And for her rope, she's gonna want attack percentage. For her substats, she's gonna want crit rate and attack percentage more than anything, and then crit damage and speed. For her light cones, obviously her signature light cone is going to be her best in slot since it increases her crit damage, regenerates energy, and increases her attack by copious amounts. For a 5-star alternative, Phoenix's light cone would be good since it increases her speed, damage dealt, and lets her ignore defense. For a free-to-play light cone, the 5-star light cone in the Herdess's shop will be a good option because it increases her attack by a ton and her damage dealt. For a 4-star light cone, the A Trail of Bygone Blood light cone would be good because it increases her crit rate and skill and ultimate damage. For another 4-star Lightcone, the most welcome you Lightcone is good since it increases her attack percentage, and in case you're in search of any other alternatives, I'd suggest to pick the alternative that offers her the most amount of attack as possible. For her teams, she's going to want to be paired with characters that increase her attack percentage, advance her forward, and provide her with energy like Sunday, Robin, RMC, Ting Yun, and Huohuo. Sunday is an amazing teammate because although his crit rate buffs and damage dealt buffs are diluted, his advance forward and energy recharge are all really good buffs to Saber. Robin is also an amazing support, being considered a best in slot since she advances every ally forward, allowing for them to regenerate energy for their ultimates, and she provides a ton of attack percentage. RMC is also a really good support since he provides Saber with the least diluted buff in the game, true damage, and he advances her forward. Ting Yun, although pretty bad nowadays, is actually a really good pairing of Saber as she can give her attack percentage and energy. Huohuo will be Saber's best in slot sustainer, considering that she can provide Saber with attack percentage, energy, and sustaining capabilities. For other sustainers, any other sustainer who can sustain Saber is going to be viable. For her Eidolons, her E1 increases ultimate damage dealt by Saber by 60%. After Saber uses a basic attack or skill, she gains 1 core resonance, which is really good considering that the majority of her damage is going to come from her ultimate. Her E2 states that for each point of core resonance gained in this battle, Saber's damage dealt ignores 100% of the target's defense. This effect can stack up to 15 times. When triggering the core resonance's skill multiplier effect, each point of core resonance additionally increases the damage multiplier for this instance of skill by 7%, which is also really good since ignoring defense is an insane damage amplifying effect, and her skill damage dealt boost is also a massive buff as well. For her E4, it increases Saber's wind rest penetration by 8%. After using her ultimate, it increases Saber's wind rest penetration by 4%, stacking up to 3 times, which is yet again really good for Saber since very little support units decrease resonance penetration in comparison to those that don't. Her E6 states that wind rest penetration of her ultimate damage dealt by Saber increases by another 20%, and the overflow energy that can be accumulated by the trace Blazing of the Lake increases to 200, and when using her ultimate for the first time after entering battle, regenerates a fixed 300 energy for Saber. Keep in mind that this effect can be triggered only one time after every 3 ultimate uses. This Eidolon pretty much makes Tribi, Ron-Mei, and Silverwolf to an extent negligible, since a big part of their kit is their all-type rest penetration boost, allowing her to use other hypercarry supports as replacements that increase her attack percentage like Robin or RMC, paired with the likes of Sunday or Ting Yu.